7 generations of successful and sexy cars that are sought after, sensational and state-of-the-art. The Mercedes SL class now opens a new chapter with this car. And while there are 3 variants globally, we are getting the SL55 4MATIC Plus. When it's an SL, being sexy kind of just goes with the territory. It's a brand-shaping car, this one. And don't forget, with this generation, it's an AMG only. So it really has to look the part. And I'm not going to really tell you that because you can just look at it and pick that up for yourself. Really aggressive face, in line with what's happening with Mercedes styling. Amazingly sexy-looking wheels. And the whole car just kind of tells you straight away that it is about performance and it is about good looks. I had the car for a few days, right as the monsoon finally hit the Western Ghats. And as the thunder cracked overhead, I had my own noisemaker on the ground, matching it. Roar for roar. The SL55 is all about the experience and not simply brutal power. Think of rivals like the Porsche 911 Carrera Cabrio or the BMW 8 Series convertible and even the Lexus LC. And this one packs in more style, if not outright performance. Now in other markets you get the performance edition or you get the touring edition of the SL, and here of course it's that one fully loaded variant that's come in. It is of course more on the touring side, and that makes sense because yes, while this car will give you a little bit of a scare on bad roads, it actually manages a fair amount of broken roads, potholes quite well. Now you can raise the suspension, which is great. In some cases that really comes in handy. And the point I'm trying to make is that if you don't have a lot of luggage and you want to do like a nice weekend getaway, as I have, it's actually perfect because it gives you that nice punchy performance. It gives you the option of putting the roof down and really that little GT feeling of getting on the highway, getting on the country roads and getting the wind in your hair. The 4MATIC Plus system is a highlight that contributes to making the SL a pleasure to drive. It has variable torque distribution for optimal traction. The SL also now has rear wheel steering, making the car even more maneuverable. Handling on this, therefore, is a dream. Now, like before, it's nice that you can, of course, put the roof up or down while the car is moving up to a certain speed. But, you know, this little touchscreen function of it is a little bit fiddly. You got to keep looking at it. And yeah, that's not great when you're on the road. So I wish it was just a simple button. And I wish you didn't have to keep your finger there. But I get it. That's a safety thing. So, of course, the roof itself is a significant part of the new generation. Why I say that is because it's contributed, amongst other things, to the massive weight reduction. So the last car, the 6th generation, was already a lot lighter than the 5th. And that's because it switched to an aluminium architecture. Now you've got aluminium composites, you've got magnesium, you've got fiber and steel. That just brings the overall weight of the car down significantly. And the way it's been designed, it's a lot more taut because now you also have the fabric roof. That brings the roof's weight down, of course, from the metal one, but when it folds back and the car is open, it doesn't add a whole lot of weight at the back. So that doesn't change your overall drive dynamics like it used to with the Vario roof in the last car. And that again makes a huge difference to the handling. When the roof is down, you also get to enjoy the growl from under the hood. And I was always going to compare it to the SL63, which I drove last November in the US. Now the SL55 is plenty powerful. You have the same V8 motor that goes into the SL63. I've driven the 63 and of course it's more powerful and you get a sense of it being noisier too. But you know, I have to say it's smart that Mercedes-Benz decided to bring us the 55 because it helps keep the price somewhat in check. And the point is that it's really, really responsive. It may be a whole 100 bhp lower in terms of power output, 100 Nm lower in terms of the torque, but you know what, in terms of performance, you don't find it lacking. It's really sharp, and the new suspension, the new steering, and of course the way the engine has been updated, all of that just brings a perfect package together, making it a lot better than the last car. Top speed is limited to 296 kilometers per hour, and this car can accelerate from 0 to 100 in just 3.9 seconds. I mentioned there's a new suspension and it's a 5-link up front, which is unusual even for a car in this segment. It's good that Mercedes has sprung for this one because it just makes the overall performance, the overall feel a lot tauter. And here's where it really works, because AMG ride control on this car gives you a good balance using variable damping. But unlike most cars which get that, which kind of compromises on making the ride too stiff, here, because of this setup, you have a nice balance between comfort and great handling. So you get that tight handling that you want, but most buyers who want an SL don't really want extreme performance. And so, yeah, you get that comfort as well, which is good. The AMG ride control is not standard and lets you raise the car by 30 millimeters at the front axle. This helps with bad speed bumps, etc. And there is also a lot more you can add on, like the AMG Dynamic Plus package, which gives you an electronic rear axle locking differential, dynamic engine mounts, the yellow brake calipers, lowering of the suspension by 10 millimeters, and the race drive mode. There is an automatically deployable rear wing, but you can also activate that using these cool round LCD screen controllers on the wheel. This also lets you change suspension settings, turn off traction control, switch the gearbox to manual mode, and the other dial lets you change the various drive modes: individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, and that optional race mode. The car comes with a whole host of ADAS that's standard. A lot of it is great. There's emergency braking, there's automatic lane keep assist, and the big update for me that I've really loved, the graphics. Now, MBUX has gotten better and better in any case over the last few years, so that part is not surprising. But on the main menu, you also get the track pace, so you can get onto a track with this car and then actually time yourself, pace yourself, lots of little functions. And then the AMG performance, which gives you just what's happening with the vehicle in terms of your overall dynamics, the center of gravity, the suspension, the engine itself, the kind of output you're getting right now. I'm coasting along, so nothing dramatic happening on the screen right now. You've also got consumption figures, which aren't always great, obviously, for a car like this, but you can try and push yourself to be a little bit more efficient. And you've got the really nice graphics. There's lots of options, lots of customization, but this particular one where you see the gear that you're in and also the RPM, it's just beautifully done. I loved it because it just gets your attention. It's really, really dynamic looking, very sexy, very smart, and I love how it pulses out the power every time you accelerate. Want to hear some noise? Yeah, let's do it. And that looks great. While the AMG Night package is standard, there are more exterior styling packages you can opt for. that enhance the sexy and sporty side of the car's design. You can also add a head-up display and the very fancy 17-speaker Burmester sound system. The interior is crafted beautifully, and that should come as no surprise to you. I mean, this is an AMG, for crying out loud. You get the latest Burmester sound system, the latest MBUX interface. That screen tilts forward or backwards depending on the glare you're getting once the roof is down. And the quality of materials, impeccable. Now, it is a strict 2+2, which means that +2 is really just for little kids. Nobody's contesting that. And you have a few options like the beautiful color here, hyper blue, or even things like the yellow stitching and the yellow seat belts. Yeah, while the hyper blue, selenite grey and obsidian black are standard options, you do have to pay extra for the non-standard colors, anywhere from 1,91,000 to 9,37,000 rupees. Same goes for the interior options, where 3 are standard trims and 2 are optional extras. The MBUX has a massive 11.9-inch portrait orientation touchscreen, which gives you a host of options that you know. But that screen almost takes away from the SL, for it's more about the performance and those racy roadster looks. Really sharp lines, and I think the part that really gets me is the rear end. It's nice and compact. Why am I saying that? Because, usually when you have a roof that folds into the car, the rear kind of tends to be like this big butt. This one, I have to say, they've achieved a really nice shape and form at the back. It's proportionate with the rest of the car. It really looks nice and sexy with this LED treatment on the taillights, and overall gives the car a really, I would say, beautiful side, which is the rear. So that's quite a car, isn't it? It is a huge step up over the last gen, and while it starts at 2,35 lakh rupees, you can see how adding all those options will take it closer to 2,75 lakh. But then this is not for everyone, and yet for those who can buy one, it is now a compelling choice over its rivals, and a gorgeous one to boot.